Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachan Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Alright, today we're going to get into 1 Samuel, the 31st chapter. This is the last chapter of the book of 1 Samuel. And a quick recap of what happened in the previous chapter. You had David and his men, his 600 men, they returned home to Ziklag and they found out they had been raided. So they go, but no one was killed. Only the women and children were carried away. So they go after the Amalekites to get everything that they had recovered, because the Lord said David would recover them all. So David and his men went, and then when they got to the brook of Bezor, 200 men were too exhausted to continue, so they stayed behind. And the 400 men, the remaining 400, ended up overcoming the Amalekites, and they got everything back what was stolen. Spoils, men, women, and more, actually. They got more. So they returned, and you have some wicked Israelites saying that the 200 who stayed behind shouldn't get anything. They should only be given their wife and children, and that's it. And then, of course, David didn't allow that. So then they returned, and David, he gave some of the spoils. He sent the spoils to the elders of Judah and his friends. And he gave gifts to the towns he visited. And that's about it. So this is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 31 and 1. And it reads, "Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab." "And Malchishua, Saul's sons." Damn, Jonathan too. The Philistines killed all of Saul's sons. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers. So one of the Philistine archers managed to hit Saul, and that wounded Saul severely. So they probably hit a vital organ. Then Saul said unto his armor bearer, "Draw thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through, and abuse me." But his armor bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took his sword and fell upon it. So Saul wanted his armor bearer to kill him before the Philistines could kill him. Because if the Philistines had gotten hold of him, they would have tortured him, basically. And Saul didn't want that. But his armor bearer was like, nah. Because he was also afraid. So Saul committed suicide. I mean, I know he was dying anyways, but still. He committed suicide because he took his own sword and fell upon it. That's crazy work. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. So his armor bearer went the same way. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor bearer, and all his men, that same day together. Hey, Samuel did prophesy that. Samuel did say that they were all going to die the same day in the war against the Philistines. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side of Jordan, saw that the men of Israel fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. So once the Israelites on the other side of the valley, like beyond the Jordan, once they saw that the army had fled, they dipped out of their towns, because they saw that they saw that Israel the army fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead. So they knew the Philistines were about to come in there. So they left, they dipped, and then the Philistines they came and dwelt in them. Yeah, they probably made the Israelite towns or cities their little strongholds, Of course not their main base. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head and stripped off his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about, to publish it in the house of their idols and among their people. And they put his armor bearer in the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. So they basically took Saul's body and the armor bearer's body. They put they put both pieces, his head and his body, into in the house of the idols, where they go and worship the idols. And when the inhabitants of I always mess this up, Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all the night, and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethshan, and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. And so they just had the bodies up in those house of idols. That must have stunk though, because like after some time, I know you can imagine they didn't. And they took their bones and buried them under a tree at Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So yeah, so they didn't have a proper burial. So the men of Jabesh Gilead went to go get the remains of Saul and his sons and his armor bearer from the Philistines, and give them a proper burial. That's the end of the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 31. And a quick summary. You had the Philistines going to war with Israel, and Samuel's prophecy come to pass, where Saul and his sons died all in the same day. And then, as the Philistines published their Saul's and his sons' remains in the house of the idols, the valiant men of Jabesh Gilead went to go what's that word? Acquire them. They basically went to go get the remains to give them a proper burial. That's about it. And the Lord willing, I was edified unto the elect. Well, next time I'm going to the book of 2 Samuel. And till next time, shalom.